Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to the Highly Taken Podcast. Tuesday episode. David coming at you from Tallahassee, Florida.
Christian coming at you from my car in Elkton right now.
Oh, nice. Nick back at you in Jacksonville. All right, let's get right into it, guys.
All right, well, it is the beginning of the week, which means we had games being played during the weekend, which means we have some winners, we have some losers, and truthfully, I think I know who lost.
Yeah, it was. Go ahead, Christian. Who do you think?
I think I won. I'm not even gonna lie.
All right. So since Christian thinks he won, we'll go with this. Christian had 7 correct. David had 3 correct.
Oh, let's fucking go, boys.
I had 7 correct. So you know what that means, Christian? Tiebreaker. Vikings versus Broncos. Christian, you picked the Vikings to win 28-24. I picked the Broncos to win 20-13. Broncos won 21-20.
Yeah.
I'll take that crown.
Okay. I said that the Vikings would score 20 points, and that happened. So
you did. You did.
But the Vikings lost. I did bad.
But it didn't really matter because you had 3.
I kept trying to pick all the small upsets, like the close games in college. I kept trying to pick all the small upsets, and it didn't pan out.
So Nick, what were the 2 that I missed on, and what were the 2 that you missed on?
I missed on the Arizona-Utah game. Arizona spanked Utah.
I know. I picked that one.
You were all correct on all college games.
Oh my God! You're done betting college.
We both missed the Chargers-Packers game.
Yeah, we all missed that one.
And some fool took the Jets to beat the Bills. And it was not me.
You were the only person to pick the Jets this week.
Yep.
Even I picked the Jets, and I got 3 right.
Yeah.
If I don't know how you guys want to start this, I'll start drinking. I already knew I was going to lose. I knew I did bad this week.
I mean, we might as well just get into some of the games this week. Try to go as fast as we can here. Really, were we at a surprise about the Rams-Seahawks game? Did we really think we saw it any other way other than the Rams winning? Because I told you they were going to win, and they did it without Cooper Kupp. So kudos to them for doing that.
I mean, yeah, it was a good win by the Rams for sure. I feel like we've kind of said it, all year that Geno Smith's taking a step back, which means that offense in full has taken a step back. And when you're scoring 14 points in a football game at the end of the day, you shouldn't be winning the games. You know what I mean? So shout out to the Rams. You played a good game, but I just don't think Seattle's as legit as the record shows that they are. And in all honesty, you could see the Rams make a push for that final or for that playoff spot in the NFC.
See, the thing is though, you got to think Seahawks, Kenneth Walker left the game too. So Kenneth Walker's been a very important piece to their offense, and losing him is not good by any means.
Yeah, but again, even that you have Charbonnet or whatever his name is, the backup who's not that bad. But you're playing against a Rams defense who is at best spotty. Other than the front 5, you're not know what you're going to get from them. Granted, the game came down to a missed field goal. That's what it came down to, is a missed field goal by the Seahawks. Seahawks probably should have won the game, but woulda, coulda, shoulda. I would hold on to saying that the Seahawks are bad until after the Eagles week, or else karma may strike. But
I'm not calling them bad. I'm just saying I don't think that they're as great as they're portrayed to be.
Right.
They have their flaws.
Even coming into this season, I still didn't have any trust in Geno. So he had a great year last year, sure, but he just looks like he's taking a big step back this year, and maybe we just had too much expectations for him coming into the season.
Right. That was an interesting game, but guys, the surprise of the week, it's got to be the New York Giants putting a spank on the Commanders this week. Tommy DeVito going 18-26 with 246 yards and 3 TDs to Sam Howell, which someone decided you should start Sam Howell with 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions.
They had a running touchdown.
They absolutely. I mean, they tried throwing the ball. 45 attempts at throwing the ball, which is impressive that he threw the ball 45 times and only had 250 yards.
Yeah, well, it makes you feel any better. I had Sam Howell on my fantasy team and started Trevor Lawrence over him, which was your call against you. So that was nice. I ended up winning that game. Like, again, I only needed 7 points between Jake Elliott's and Hurts last night to win. So I was pretty comfortable with that.
But I mean, with that also like being said, with what we were seeing with this game, they were all short passes that DeVito was throwing. I mean, Saquon had 4 receptions for 57 yards and 2 receiving TDs. So they were doing it all on short little routes.
I mean, dude, Saquon's first touchdown was like a 30-yard dime in the back of the end zone.
Well, other than that, what else did they do? I mean,
well,
I don't think it's as.
No, I mean,
I don't know. It seems
okay, but when haven't the Giants thrown short passes though as their offense? They've been doing that since Eli. You also have a rookie quarterback in there, so he doesn't have I don't think he has the full sense of that system yet. I mean, he came in as a not even a backup. He came in as a 3rd string this season. So I mean, I don't know. Hopefully, I don't mind the guy. I'm pretty sure he's the one that played for Syracuse. If that's the correct DeVito, I remember. I think
I'm almost positive you're right because he hasn't ever lived out of the state of New York. He still lives 2 minutes away from the stadium at his mom's house. Shout out to him. Doesn't have to pay rent and making some money.
He lives 2 minutes away in New York, but they play in New Jersey.
It's so confusing. So confusing.
I would. I guess this is
we don't need to get into geology.
What's the income tax there? Like, what's the income tax of living in New Jersey and New York?
I'm good. I don't want to figure that out. That's too much. Right. I don't want to talk about it. And also, how about the Chargers? Their rookie ruined their chances. That was a perfect throw by Herbert. Should have caught it. Should have brought it in. Eckler fumbling the ball. I don't know how he did that. You know, they had that game against the Packers and they just let it slip away. And it seems like that's kind of been how the Chargers have always been.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's even with Phillip Rivers, it seems like the Chargers have always been that team that just lets it somehow slip away from them. Just unfortunate.
There's a reason they're called the chokers. I mean, it just seems like all the time they just choke in the biggest moments all the time. I mean, I think Staley needs to be gone. I really do think he needs to be gone. I think he's the issue there. That team is too talented to right now be a 3 and whatever, 4 whenever they are. So,
well, I mean, you have to also think he doesn't have. I don't think Everett played. He doesn't have Palmer, and Williams is out too. They're all 3 out, and those are some important pieces to your offense. Your second option is your rookie. It's not having like JJ out there or Devontae Smith that are going to make that leap and be fine. You know, he needs time to develop, and he had that time until he doesn't now because the players are hurt. You know, it sucks, and I feel bad for Herbert. He's a top 5 quarterback in the league, throwing the ball. He's a great quarterback. And he just can't throw the ball right now, and he has to rely on Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen's going to be the next guy that goes. The dude is injury prone. I'm surprised he's lasted this long, especially how much they're giving him the ball.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that team for the last several seasons has been injury prone. So
yeah, I feel like as far as I can remember with the Chargers, man, they've always been injury prone. They've always, it's always the same thing with them. It feels like every single year, man. Like it's actually kind of crazy.
Yeah. So then, I mean, we gotta get to the other game, walk-off field goal, Steelers-Browns. We knew it was going to be like that. We knew it was going to be very tight, close game, defensive game. Does Warren deserve to be the head back from here on out now that Canada's gone? I mean, he rushed for 9 attempts, 150 yards. I mean, that, in my opinion, he deserves to have that spot over Najee Harris. There's just not a question.
Granted, like almost all that came on one play, but still, I mean,
he's a 78-yard run.
This season he's looked better. He has looked better this season. I think the big thing that comes out of this is I may be worried about the Steelers now that Canada's gone. And like I said, Matt Canada has been like the second most hated person on this podcast since we started talking about it. And maybe that, I don't know who they're going to have calling plays now, but I just feel like that offense is, maybe they won't jump to like this high scoring offense, but they're at least going to have some sort of life there because he was dragging that offense down for whatever reason.
I think, and this is where things can get real scary with the Steelers. I think that there is going to be a motivation side of that offense, the way there was a motivation that the Raiders now have with their head coach being gone. And I think that's something that teams should almost be worried for in a sense, because with the Raiders, you know that they're a mad team that's just not playing to their full potential. Mm-hmm. You have a Steelers team that is playing exceptionally well on the defensive side of the ball. Like that is 100% figured out. If this offense can find itself some light, if it can bring itself to a new season, that is going to be terrifying to watch for an opposing team because the defense is going to be nonstop and that offense is going to smack you down.
Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy. I mean, they played a hell of a game. You got to give it to that defense. I mean, they really shut down Steelers offense, which a lot of teams have been shutting it down. And I agree. I think you're going to see them probably throw the ball a little more now. I think they're finally going to use Pickens the way Pickens should be used. But yeah, it's going to be exciting. That whole division is just going to be exciting. And I mean, we have to talk about it. Texans win, Jaguars win. Texans are 6-4. Jaguars are 7-3. They're playing each other. If the Texans win in Houston this next week, Texans will be in first place because they have a better record in the division and they have a better head-to-head record. Mind-blowing.
It is. I don't think any of us could have sat here and said the Texans have a shot at finishing at the top of this division come end of the year. I mean, we would have laughed at each other for saying that. It is insane to watch what CJ Stroud is doing over there in Houston. And I know, Nick, you're a hater, so that's fine. But I know David and I, we love watching it, right? Like it is so cool to be able to see this. He's on track right now to have by far the best rookie season as a quarterback, by far. You know what I mean? And so it's just so cool to be able to seeing it all come together right now, right away in Houston. And it's cool to see the leader he's already becoming and how he's leading that team. Because like we said, there's no true number one proven wide receiver over there, right? I mean, he's playing with Tank Dell and Nico Collins. I mean, both two studs, absolute studs, but they're not true number ones.
They're not number ones. No.
Right. They're not number ones. Exactly. And it goes the same thing with Dalton Schultz and Noah Brown. Those aren't true number one guys, but yet you're still out here throwing 300 plus a game. And I know every game. And I know these last 2 weeks, you're starting to finally get the growing pains with the interceptions and the turnovers. But what's really selling me on him is he's overcoming that and he's still finding a way to win. And that to me, if you're throwing 3 turnovers in a game, dude, you should lose that game. So if you figure out a way to come back and pull that out, I mean, you're on a great path already as a rookie.
I agree with you. I mean, he was 27 of 37 with 336 yards. So, I mean, he was throwing some bombs there, right? With 3 interceptions, 3 out of the 10 incompletions were interceptions. Like that's nuts. I mean, the fact that he only didn't complete 10 of the catches, and I think correct me if I'm wrong, I wasn't able to watch the game, but a lot of them were like he threw a couple interceptions on the deep ball, right?
So one was a tip, one hit the receiver's hands and was tipped and went straight to a defensive player.
That should be on the wide receiver.
The last one was bad. The last pick he threw was pretty bad. It looked like just an underthrown ball to the receiver.
And then he had one, was the one that was over the middle into the back of the end zone. Is that the one you were thinking of?
Well, I'm just saying
that was the one that was like the tip that hit the receiver's hands and like bounced straight to a defender.
I still think receivers should be able to get an interception and it doesn't go against.
But what sells me on Stroud though is what Christian was saying is just the confidence he has as a rookie. He came out and people said, "Oh, you threw 3 picks. What do you say to that?" And he goes, "Steph Curry keeps shooting. I'm going to keep shooting." And hey, I mean that's the confidence you want to have, you know. I think that's the confidence that Bryce Young lacks right now, and the reason why he's not playing so well. I don't know. As Stroud, that team looks dangerous. They got themselves a good balanced offense. Now, Singletary has looked great the last couple of games for that offense. The offensive line has looked great this season, and you
used them against me.
Yeah, well, you just really wonder, like, if they're a solid defense away from being a Super Bowl contender. Honestly, if their defense was just semi-solid, they would be my pick coming out of the AFC. Honestly.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is they're keeping games close. You know, all the games have been pretty close, and they seem to be coming out on top. And that is great for if they do make a playoff push. That is great confidence boosters for those playoff games. You know, it's really going to help you. You know, you've been in this situation. You got to make a comeback. You know, games close on the line. You know, that's great confidence boosters, and I think that's really helping Stroud in his rookie year. I mean, it's phenomenal in what he's doing. I hate to say it, but he's playing the greatest I've ever seen a rookie quarterback ever play. Honestly, probably any rookie player that I've ever seen to have the confidence that he's going out there with. It's great. But, guys, we got to get into this last one because I know you want to talk about some rundowns on the college. Last night's game, Eagles came back, won 21-17. You know, there were a lot of bad calls, a lot of no calls. You know, Christian doesn't like that. But it was pretty awful. But I will say, you got to give credit where credit's due to hold Kansas City to no points in the second half of that game. They made adjustments. Yes, you can say they drove down the field. Yeah, they did. But you got to give credit where credit's due on the defense and making the ball, turning over the ball. I mean, you can't just say, well, you know, if they didn't turn it over. Well, they did turn it over. You know, the defense made that happen.
It was forced turnovers. It wasn't like bad decisions. It was Byard making a great play on the ball and then Roby punching the ball out on Travis Kelce.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's what bothers me is everyone's still saying Chiefs were a better team. Sure, maybe they are a better team. But the big thing that I really don't like about what happened last night is the play calling of the Eagles on offense. The offensive play calling was the worst I've ever seen. It was atrocious.
The ball.
And you know, when you have AJ Brown only have one reception for what, 5-6 yards?
8.
That's not going to get it done. That's not going to get it done. It hurts. And you got to also say that interception Hurts threw was a bad interception. Brown ran the route and was wide open, and he thought Brown was going to cut in, and he didn't, but he kept going straight, and Hurts just missed it. That was a clear touchdown last night that happens. But Eagles fought and battled and stayed in the game the entire time, and they won. It's a good team. It doesn't matter. Was it dirty? Sure. It was a dirty game. They played terrible on offense, but they found a way to overcome it and win the game.
Yeah.
And like I said, it comes down to, again, we talked about it, play calling. Like, I mean, you have a really wet game against the 31st ranked running defense in the league, and you're not running the ball. I mean, you have DeAndre Swift, who's averaging like 7 rushing yards per attempt at one point, and you're not running the ball. When you get the ball back, you punch the ball out with momentum, and you call screen. 3 straight plays, 3 screens. Run the ball. I mean, even I don't understand the call there. Your running game is working. You had the lead at that point, and you just forced a turnover in the red zone. So I mean, I don't know. The play calling stinks. Part of me, I know this is going to be a weird take. Part of me hopes that we fire our offensive coordinator, and then that the Panthers fire Frank,
right?
And so we can get him back. But
yeah.
I mean, a win's a win. You start off the gauntlet 2-0. I mean, you beat Dallas, you beat them, and now you 2-0 in the gauntlet, and you have 4 more hard games you have to play. I mean, just keep winning. That's all you can do. And no matter how it looks, no matter how sloppy it looks, no matter how many times they beat themselves, a win's a win. You're at 9-1. You just guaranteed yourself a winning season already.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. I feel like that's I don't know, man. I feel like that's what the whole like media and everybody's upset about is because that's kind of that locker room's mentality at this point, right? It might not be pretty. It might not be the greatest game. No, the offense is not, I guess point-wise looking as great or as flashy as they did last year. But we're here to win, right? That's what Hurts has always said. That's what the team's always said. The main goal is to win, regardless of how you've done it, no matter who gets the points, no matter who does what. You want to win. That's all we're trying to do. And I feel like every time we always figure out a way to. Like last night, the offense didn't play that great of a game until coming around to the fourth quarter. Getting onto the board, closing out at the end of the game. What?
You just went Mr. Roboto on us for a little bit. It's fine.
Oh, I was like talking, but there was no voice coming.
No, it was just slow. Just keep going. Hurry up.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, I just feel like I don't know, man. I feel like that's where the credit gets lost when the defense wins us the game like they did last night. It's always well, the other team just shot themselves in the foot and Hurts didn't play well and this, that, and the third. There's never enough credit given to the defensive side of the ball. Talking about, man, this is a legitimate defense because it is.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta think about it this way. Mahomes was so close to having 2 interceptions that last night. And I will say, if Jalen Carter would have caught that ball diving in between the center's legs on that spiked ball, that would, in my opinion, would have been the best interception of the year, because that was something that no one saw coming. And it was right here, went right in between his hands. He was so close. Everyone tried to make fun of it, but that was a smart play, man. That was a really smart play.
I mean, the Eagles almost got a pick on the last drive of the game when Mahomes was rolling out and he decided to dump that ball off. We almost got a pick by the linebacker right there. Yeah. But like credit is due. That defense knows when to lock it up. We can make fun of them all they want. We make fun of how bad sometimes those corners get burnt. But when we need the plays to happen, that defensive line gets it done, and that's all that matters.
So here's also, obviously, Valdez-Scantling missed that ball. 1, guys, it was raining last night. That plays a factor into it. 2, I mean, it happens. It sucks. We've seen it happen. We've seen it happen with Aguilar. We've seen it happen
in the Super Bowl.
Rager. We've seen it happen with Watkins. We've seen it happen so many different times. It happens. You make big time drops.
Freaking Jeffrey.
But at the same time, even if he would have made that play, Eagles still had time to go down on the field and at least take a field goal. The way the offense started playing in that fourth quarter, I would not have doubted the fact that they could have came back and at least kicked the field goal in that last little bit to tie the game. We can say these are all hypotheticals because guess what? He didn't catch the ball. It sucks, but it happens. Great win. I'll take it. It was stressful, but I like winning big games like this. I think it helps close games coming back. It's going to boost confidence. Jalen Hurts said it, that he caught himself when he was having his conference there right after the game, talking to the media. He goes, yeah, it was terrible play. It was terrible play by us on offense. And he stopped. He was about to say terrible play calling. He was 100% about to say terrible play calling.
Yeah, Nick read his mind through the TV screen. He knew exactly the word calling was coming next.
He stopped himself and fixed what he was going to say. I'm telling you. I saw it. He knows what's going on. And I don't know. One of my favorite plays of that game last night, though, was Jason Kelce shaking off the audible and telling Hurts to run the other way. And what do you know? First down after he told him that. What an incredible audible. Kudos to Kelce.
But yeah, if we're done with NFL, I really have some fun stuff I want to talk to you guys about. It's kind of a game here almost. I want to see your guys' thoughts. I have college football playoffs. We're coming to crunch time. We have 2 more weeks, less than 2 weeks till we know who's going to be in the college football playoffs. Obviously this week's rivalry week, next week is going to be the title game, and with that there's a lot in the balance. But first, before we talk about that, let's have a moment of silence. JMU lost, very sad. I wanted them to go undefeated, wanted them to go all the way, put NCAA's money where their mouth is. So it just kind of sucks. I still think
the Jonas brothers were going to pay to have a bowl game for them.
Why? But yeah, so I have 5 different playoff scenarios I want to run by you guys. I just want to hear who you guys would put in the playoff based on the scenarios. So I'll go ahead. I'm going to give you scenario number 1. We have Alabama beats Georgia. Ohio State / Michigan wins the Big Ten title. Oregon beats Washington. Texas wins the Big 12. FSU goes undefeated and wins the ACC. So, I mean, things to ponder here. Obviously, Georgia would be undefeated. Alabama would be an undefeated Georgia. However, Texas won head-to-head against Bama. The loser, Ohio State, Michigan, would have 1 loss, now 2. and it was to the winner of the Big Ten. FSU would go undefeated, beat a top 10 Louisville in the ACC, but they also don't have Travis now. And Oregon would win the Pac-12, but Washington's only loss would be in the game against a team they've beaten already. So that's kind of what's in there already. Scenario number one.
Yeah, that's rough. All right, so basically what you're telling me, the only undefeated team is going to be FSU. That's what you're telling me.
No, FSU and the winner of Ohio State, Michigan.
Okay. Yeah. At that point, you have to take the two undefeated teams. Unfortunately, I don't agree with FSU only because of their strength of schedule. Hasn't been there like the other teams. But unfortunately, if you're undefeated, I feel like you have to. Man, that's rough. I mean, Georgia's looked good all year. But then you lose to Alabama. Alabama lost to Texas. So if Texas wins the Big 12, you have to give it to Texas as a bid in for that. Washington, Oregon, both have been phenomenal this year, had a lot of great wins. The way Oregon's beaten everybody this year and that game that they lost to Washington, if Oregon beats them the way that they've beaten all the other teams, you just take Oregon. If it's another close game, you have to take both of them. It's
just scenario one. That's just scenario one. Christian, what do you think?
Oh my gosh. So just to say off of what you said there, Nick. So that would be what? FSU and Ohio State or Michigan, whoever stays undefeated, and then Texas. Washington and Oregon. That's what you just said.
Texas, and then you have
one loss Texas, one loss Georgia, one loss Oregon, one loss Bama, one loss.
That would mean Texas technically would have played better than Georgia and Alabama. So you kind of have to give it to them. And then, in my opinion, it's going to be between Washington and Oregon. And I think it depends if Oregon goes out there and slaughters Washington. You know what? Whoever wins that game's getting in. Because I think late in the game, Pac-12 championship, whoever's winning that Pac-12 championship is going to get the automatic bid.
Look, I think, yeah, I don't know. I don't think Bama beats Georgia, man.
But that's not the scenario.
It's a hypothetical.
But what's the scenario? That's what you're here.
All right. So I guess then inside of that scenario, yeah, Texas would get a bid. Yeah, whoever wins the Big Ten title, they get a bid. Whoever wins the Pac-12 title, they're gonna get a bid. And then, I guess you're gonna have to put undefeated FSU in there, bro, because they're undefeated.
Yeah, so you guys kind of went along the line. So I agreed to you. I would say undefeated Ohio State and Michigan would be your 1 seed, Bama would be your 2 seed, Oregon would be at 3 for me, then FSU at 4. Then I would. Wait, am I reading my first one? Yeah, FSU at 4. Then I have Texas at 5, just missing, and then Washington at 6. That's my scenario 1. Texas, it's just tough to not. The Texas one is going to be the biggest one between Texas and FSU. I just feel like you can't take out undefeated FSU, and that's the only reason Texas just barely misses having 1 loss to Bama. But we have scenario number 2. This one's a little bit more tame, but it can still get interesting here. Georgia goes undefeated, FSU goes undefeated, Ohio State or Michigan goes undefeated, Washington goes undefeated, right? I mean,
that's easy.
That should be the easy one.
That's the easy one.
Yeah.
Do I have to tell you everybody who would put 1, 2, 3, and 4?
Yeah.
Georgia 1, Ohio State. Wait, yeah, one of those two. Ohio State number 2 if they win it out. Washington 3, FSU number 4, just because of strength of schedule.
Yeah, and the only reason I put this one as an interesting one in here is barring what happens to the Louisville-Kentucky game. So if Kentucky beats Louisville and then Florida State beats Louisville, who has 1 loss already, 2 losses now, and doesn't have Travis, then I could see a scenario where they put in the loser to the Ohio State-Michigan game.
Or Texas.
Yeah. I didn't even consider Texas in this scenario. Yeah, because Texas would win the Big 12. So I feel like they would put. Actually, you know what? I think you're right. I think they would put Texas in there. So yeah, I mean, again, it's a scenario where I don't think it's going to happen, but like I said, it really depends what ends up happening in that Kentucky Louisville game. That honestly FSU season kind of bangs in the balance because I don't think they make it in, even if they go
there's one thing that I know for certain is SEC football is better than ACC football. That I will tell you without a doubt.
And then Pac-12 football is better than SEC football.
So we have scenario 3. This one's a little bit testier too. I mean, not really that much testier, just that 4th spot who would go with, because this one's Georgia goes undefeated, Ohio State, Michigan undefeated, Washington undefeated, but then Louisville beats FSU. So then that's another scenario that you're gonna have to figure out too. Also, Texas. Well, I have Texas wins the Pac-12. So I guess that's Big 12. So I guess should be easy.
I mean, you gotta give it to Texas or Michigan.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I don't even know if
the only reason that makes it tougher is because Texas's only win would come to a 2-loss Bama. That's why I thought even if they win the Big 12, it comes to a 2-loss Bama. Their big win does, and they have one loss against an Oklahoma team who lost 2 bad games.
Michigan and Ohio State comes to a 1-loss team. Yeah,
one loss to one of those.
You're gonna give it one.
That's what makes that one tougher.
Yeah, you'd have to give it to one of them.
But see, what if? Yeah, I don't know. You said Washington wins the.
So basically,
scenario.
Everybody who's undefeated right now, Big 10, SEC, Pac-12 goes undefeated, and then FSU loses to Louisville.
Okay. Yeah. So then
FSU's out.
So then
FSU's out.
Oh, yeah.
FSU, in that situation, FSU would be out. So Georgia's your 1 seed. Your winner of the OSU Michigan game is your 2 seed, and then the winner of your Washington and Oregon game is going to be your 3 seed there. But that's why I don't know, man. I feel like you're going to have to wait to see how those games are actually played, because at that point, in my opinion, the 4 seed is going to belong to either the loser of the Washington-Oregon game or the loser of the Michigan-Ohio State game.
But you still have 1-loss Big 12 champion Texas and then 1-loss ACC champion Louisville, who would have just beaten an undefeated FSU team.
Yeah, but Louisville doesn't get it because they lost to Pitt, dude. That's a bad loss.
Yeah, that was a bad loss.
I mean, like I said, Texas lost to Oklahoma, and Oklahoma has 2 losses and almost lost to BYU.
But at that point, like Christian says, if Oregon... All right, is there another scenario? Because...
Yeah, sorry, scenario number 4. This is where it gets really crazy. So Georgia beats Bama. We have Ohio State or Michigan lose the Big 10 championship. Washington beats Oregon. Louisville beats FSU. Texas loses the Big 12.
Oh, yeah. All right. But FSU wins?
No, FSU loses.
All right. This is easy. This is easy money. All right. So obviously at that point, the loser of the Ohio State Michigan game goes in because they're playing like Wisconsin or something in that Big 10 championship, and that's a terrible loss. Oregon, Washington, they're in, right? Oregon beats Washington. They're both in. Have to.
Well, no, I say Washington beats Oregon in this scenario.
Okay, so Washington's in. Washington goes to number 2 seed. Georgia stays in. Man, dude, does Big 10 get 2? Maybe Big 10 gets 2. I don't think Florida State gets a bid because you have to win out in the ACC, in my opinion, to have a bid at the playoffs.
So where I made this scenario, what I think would happen here is if all this crazy stuff were to happen, which it won't, but you have Georgia at 1, Washington at 2. I would put Louisville at 3 in this scenario. If what you have, no, but you got to think about, they'd be a 1-win ACC champion, a 1-loss ACC champion, even with Ohio State and Michigan both having 1 losses, but both aren't Big 10 champions. So then that's where it comes down to. I think they would get in, and the Big 10 title game loser would be number 4, and then Michigan or Ohio State loser would be number 5. So
dude,
I think
the playoff committee would not want that in any way, shape, or form, bro. You know damn well that would never
Louisville doesn't
happen.
Make it. Louisville doesn't make it. I don't even know if Louisville wins this week.
Dude, the only way bro, I really don't see any situation where Louisville could actually find its way to. I mean, I don't think think it's possible, man.
Number 5. This is why I refer to it as the doomsday scenario. We have Alabama beats Georgia. Ohio State or Michigan loses the Big 10 championship. Oregon beats Washington. Louisville beats FSU. Texas wins the Big 12.
Texas, automatic bid. You got to go Oregon, Washington, strength of schedule this year. I think at this point, oh man, does Oregon gets the number 1 seed?
Mm-hmm. That's what I have. Yeah.
Then, man, Washington number 2, Texas at number 3.
Well, you think Washington would be number 2 after losing the week before? They would put Oregon and Washington at 1 and
maybe
2.
They go for. Then I guess I'll. Wow. I don't think a Big Ten team gets it.
Well, you haven't dropped
Alabama, Georgia. I think Alabama, Georgia get in. If Georgia loses to Alabama, I think they both get in. And no, can't do that. Texas, Alabama, because they beat Georgia, Oregon, and Washington. That's it.
Christian, what do you think here?
My brain is absolutely zapped from trying to run these scenarios right now, dude. I'm like staring off into space trying to think. I have no clue. And I guess that's why the football playoff committee gets paid to figure this shit out, because I can't figure this out, bro. I have no clue who deserves.
I would love to be on that committee.
So what I have is I agree with Nick. I say Oregon be number 1 at that point. I have Texas at 2 and then Bama at 3, but only because Texas beat Bama in the season. That's the only reason I would have them in front of them. They would still play each other no matter what. So I guess 2 and 3 are interchangeable. It doesn't really matter at that point.
That was a good game too. We'll say that.
It was a good game. And at 4, again, I have Louisville. I just feel like a 1-loss ACC championship team who beat an undefeated FSU team. I feel like that should be credited and instead of getting all these people who lose one loss non-title games. I'm just
at this point, do you know what, David? You know what? All of, 3 days ago, you're on the right path. But then Jordan Travis went out for the season. If they win, there's an asterisk next to it, bro. It doesn't matter. Like nobody's gonna take it real. Oh, Louisville won. Well, FSU didn't have their quarterback that's been playing for them all year, so it doesn't even count.
It doesn't even matter.
I'll keep that in mind. I'll keep that in mind after Saturday.
They lost to Pitt. No, ACC won't get a bid at that point. It's gonna go to Washington. It has to go to Washington. They've had a great season. The only loss is to an Oregon team that's been playing great. I don't think if the Big Ten, if you lose to the West, you're not getting in. No Big Ten team's getting in. There's just there's no way you can let that happen.
Yeah,
Oregon play.
What's that? What were you saying?
I was gonna say, wait. So it's in-state rivalry week this week, right? So it's all like the in-state games.
Yeah. So Oregon plays Oregon State.
Yeah, Washington plays Washington State.
Yeah, so it is rivalry week, so it's like all the big rivals: Georgia Tech, Ohio State, Michigan, blah blah.
Georgia Tech fun scenario. This week.
Fun scenario. I don't know why he's not talking about this. Florida beats Florida State. It's over for Florida State, especially now with a backup quarterback.
It is a fun scenario.
Then at that point, if Louisville beats Florida State in the championship, you're definitely not letting LSU or Louisville.
That was part of which scenario did I have that in? I had it in, I think, scenario 3, where I said, like, if FSU were to lose at all before then they're screwed. A lot of me thinks that too. Even if FSU's undefeated, they could be screwed if Louisville loses against Kentucky. I truly think that they did not count an undefeated FSU without Jordan Travis. All right, so I guess after all that crazy college football scenario, we're going to end it with what we usually do. Christian, certified baller, who do you got this week?
Mid-piss. Give me just 2 seconds.
Oh, that's real nice.
So certified baller of the week.
Is he sitting?
Hate to say it, man, but I think it's gonna have to be Brock Purdy for me, man. Brock Purdy went out there, balled out over there. 49ers, perfect quarterback rating for the entire game. Pretty crazy. First quarterback to do that, I believe, in 49ers history since Joe Montana had done it. Only missed on 4 passes all game, 333 yards. And what?
Oh, you said Joe Montana. It's fine.
Oh, Montana. Yeah, and so it's got to be Brock Purdy for me. He just played an absolute great game. Didn't play that great of an opponent, but one way or another, perfect quarterback rating, 333 yards, 3 touchdown passes. Played an absolute great game.
Yeah, well, I guess he was going to be mine. I agree. Brock Purdy, 0 picks, 3 touchdowns, 4 completions, a perfect QBR. you can't ask for much more in your quarterback, especially against a pretty good Bucs defense. So he is also, I agree. I'm going to agree. He's my certified baller.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard to disagree with that. I like that as the Lone Star, but we also have to give some credit to Trevor Lawrence as well. He played a great game. 260 yards in the air, 2 TDs, along with 2 rushing TDs on the day. 4 total TDs. I mean, you have to at least give him some sort of honorable mention over there. Yeah. And I could give a possible honorable mention to Tommy DeVito, winning in Washington in a divisional game, went out there, threw for 3 TDs. I mean, I would say you could go with him too, but I mean, clear choice has to be
Action News.
Has to be Brock Purdy. But I mean, you guys want to? I'll say my deflated baller. I guess I'll finish it. I was kind of torn in between, but I'm going Billy Napier. Again, he's going to be my deflated baller of the week. The dude had a perfect situation there in Missouri to win that game. You were killing it with your backup quarterback and running great plays, RPOs, passing the ball with him. He was playing great. You get down into your own territory, and all you want to do is use ETN and run the ball. They snuffed it out. They had 3 timeouts. Then you decide to run out of bounds, and now they have 1 timeout with 1 minute and 37 seconds left. You kick a field goal to go up. You had all the momentum in the world. You took away the game plan. You should have easily thrown the ball there. You have one of the best wide receivers in football right now in Pearsall. He's a great wide receiver. You need to use him and utilize him. They played great on offense. And I will say this, then to let them convert a fourth and 18 and didn't play the prevent defense on that, shame on you for doing something like that. I know the defensive coordinator has something to do with that, but you could easily have made that not happen. And that is why you could have easily picked that up and gone to a bowl game. And instead, now your job is still on the line. You have to win 1 more week in order to be there next year.
Yeah, and so I guess I'll do my deflated baller first. I'll give a secondary shout out for certified baller Bo Nix. Bo Nix had like 6 touchdowns before the half the other day. But I was gonna say I'm gonna have to change mine that I was gonna have because I was gonna say the Steelers offense, right? But they just fired Matt Canada, so I may even say they're my certified baller this week for firing Matt Canada. What a move! If I'm going to go deflated baller, then
what a move.
Going to have to go Chicago Bears. You're up by 13 points with 5.5 minutes left, and you lose. And like that, just to me seems like a purposeful tank job. It just feels like you're losing the integrity of the game. No way you let Jared Goff, who threw 3 picks already in the game, and your defense just shuts down in the last 5 minutes for no reason. You give up that much momentum. It makes no sense to me. And so that's the reason I'm going to go the Bears to be my deflated baller.
Yeah, I like that pick there, David. I'm going to kind of stay in that same boat with you, and I'm going to go with the team here. And we touched on them a little bit, but I tell you, man, I got to go with the Chargers, man. I'm so sick and tired of seeing them have opportunity on top of opportunity on top of opportunity to win the stinking football game, and they find a way to shoot themselves in the foot every single time. And they have all this talent surrounding on the offense and on the defense, and you're playing a horrible team like the Packers, and you just let Jordan Love look like a Pro Bowler. I mean, this guy went out there, threw 300-plus yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, and like you said, there's that fumble inside of the red zone that you have in the closing times. It's costly for the Chargers. Horrible reads, bad. I don't know, man. I don't get it. You have so much talent there, and week in and week out, you find a way to just completely underachieve.
Yeah, I like that. So since you guys didn't touch on it, it was a toss-up after hearing what happened today. I wanted to do it. Now I'm going to give it my honorable mention. I'm going Jim Irsay.
Yeah. You, Jim Irsay.
We hate you. Everything.
Yeah.
You even know how to run an organization. You literally get rid of your best linebacker, one of your best defensive players for what? What's the reason? No one's saying what happened. They just waived him. No one knows what happens. You just say that. Now, if something bad happened, okay, sure. But that is your guy. It's been your guy for a while now, and he's a Pro Bowl linebacker. Now, what you did was absolutely stupid. And now I hope the Eagles go and pick him up because the Eagles need a linebacker. I'm all about that. Do it. Come on, Howie. Take some advice from Howie and see what he does.
I'll tell you what, though, the only thing that does suck for any team right now when it comes to him is that contract. He's still owed $6.5 million on the year, and then I believe he's also owed another $6 million before the start of the 2024 season. So that's $12 million you're tying up in a linebacker that you're really only getting as a loan player because his contract's done at the end of the season. So in all honesty, now that I'm actually thinking about that, honestly, Leonard could have went to Irsay and said, look, man, I want out. You're not going to pay me next year. You're not using me this year. I want out.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? What you're saying is right, but at the same time, you look at it. You have a team like the Eagles that are in a playoff push that need a position and desperately need a linebacker. I say you take that. You take that chance in that $12 million. I thought that the Colts ate some of the contract, so it wouldn't be all of it. But I think you take it, man. I think it's a one and done, like you said. It's a loan player. It's a loan player that you're getting to have a chance to win the Super Bowl, and I think you have to take it. I think anyone that is in the hunt for the Super Bowl is going to take a jab at trying to pick him up.
Yeah, so I guess that's going to get us into our last thing real quick. That's going to be our hot takes of the week.
Yeah. Hot takes of the week, right off the press. I got you right here. Battle of the backup quarterbacks, Florida versus Florida State. Florida will win that game, not by 1 touchdown, but by 2 touchdowns.
Okay.
Yeah, my hot take is that 4 teams inside the top 10 lose this weekend.
Well, one's guaranteed. So.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, he needs 3 more.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so mine is actually going to be that Trevor Bauer ends up on the team by the end of the week.
Interesting. I mean, why not? Take a chance on him.
Hey, if the Phillies get Yamamoto and they get Bauer after they just signed Nola, also shout out Nola, one of the state of Philly.
That's a good contract. I liked it.
He took a pay cut, but I guess that's all we have. So Nick, get back to work and have a happy Thanksgiving. Eat some turkey.
Enjoy the holidays.
Oh wow, that's it. Is that's it for the day, boys?
That's it. Eat as much stuffing as you want. Stuff your face. Stuff your face all day. Eat that turkey leg. Watch some football. Watch some football. Have a couple drinks. Enjoy the time with the family. That's all that really matters. But hey, see you later on.
Yes, sir, boys. We'll see you guys back here on Friday, baby.
You don't get holiday pay?
Yeah.
Come join the hype. We're not just blowing steam. We're known for our hot takes, blazing like fire, bringing heat to the table, never preaching to the choir, debating on players, teams, and even strategies. We keep it real, the sugar-coated fallacies. David's on the mic, spinning knowledge of flair. He breaks down the stats with a voice smooth like air. Christian's a funny guy, bringing laughter and joy. He got the jokes unlocked and no one can destroy. Leaks the analysts, break down the X's and O's. He sees the game differently like nobody knows. Together unite, forming a podcast dream team, making waves in the industry, fulfilling their schemes.